Hi everyone, welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name's Laura and this is the Carpe Diem Stitcher. So I'm back with you today for a Friday Sews type of video. So I'm going to use the hashtag Friday Sews. I'm actually filming this on the weekend, on the Saturday night, and I hope I'll either get it out tonight or maybe tomorrow. So it'll be Friday Sews on a Saturday or Friday Sews on a Sunday. But it is a Friday Sews type vlog, so a chatty catch up on what I've been up to since I last saw you. For those of you who don't know, Friday Sews is a hashtag for YouTube developed by the lovely Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. And it's just a searchable tag that vloggers can use so that if people are interested in seeing people's day-to-day catch-ups of kind of life and sewing, they can search on that. So if you're new to the concept and you want to see lots of vloggers all talking about what they've been up to and progress on their makes, do go and check out that hashtag. And while we're on the subject of people being new to things, I'd like to say a really big thank you to all my lovely new subscribers. After I put out my Sew Frugal 23 video, which I will link down below for those of you who haven't had a chance to watch it yet, I had a lovely flurry of some new subscribers, and I also had some lovely comments on that video, all of which I've now replied to. I always do reply to comments on my video, even if it takes me a couple of days, few days to get round to that. But I'm really grateful that you enjoyed the content, and I hope that you stick around for lots more. And if you're new here and you haven't had a chance to see my content before, then if you enjoy this blog, please do give me a thumbs up, have a comment. I love to hear what you have to say, and please consider subscribing. So if I'm looking down, it's because I've got some notes so I don't miss anything. So I thought what I'd do is I would start off by giving you a catch up on my Burda jacket, and I'll show you the pattern in a minute. But this is a jacket that I'm making for a collaboration with the lovely Jess over at So What If I Sew. She's making a jacket as well, not the same jacket. And so we've both been getting on and making these jackets, and we're hoping to reveal them, fingers crossed, in April. So the pattern that I'm making it's from a Burda magazine. This is November 22's edition of Burda. So for those of you who've not seen it before, I'm making pattern number 115, which is this blazer. But as I'll show you in more detail in a moment, I've not put patch pockets on it. What I am doing is I am pinching the welt pockets with the flaps, which is on pattern number 114. And the pattern pieces, in essence, it's the same pattern, but this one is a longer make than the blazer. And I think that this one has got a full lapel, whereas on, if I take you back to the one I'm doing, it's kind of like a faux lapel. You probably can't see very well on that, but it's a faux lapel. So I thought I'd give you an update because I actually have got to a point where I can actually show you some of it. So Olivia is modelling, and of course you now can't see it as well, but I'll take it off Olivia in a moment. Olivia, for those of you who don't know, is my mannequin, and she's called that because that's the model of mannequin that she is. So I've got my welt pockets in, and inevitably I got a bit better with practice. So this one I don't think I've done quite so well, because when I actually put the pocket in, I think I might have caught some of the welt bit in there. But because of the fabric, I kind of thought, once it's had a good press, it's not been pressed yet, I think it's probably not going to show too much. It's such a busy pattern. So it's got its flap and it's got the red lining on it. And then inside it's all, let me take it off, Olivia. Sorry, Olivia, but it's warm enough without it. So if you go over there, right, you can see that I've got the pockets in and all overlocked. So I wanted to get to that point before I showed you how I was getting on, and I've also just this afternoon I've joined the shoulder seams, and the I've put the back on. You're meant to do it so that you just have the front and the side pieces on while you're sewing the welt pocket, but I found that the seams on this they were fraying so terribly, because stupidly I didn't overlock them all before I started, that I just joined them and then got them overlocked as best I could, so that they didn't get any worse. And all the other pieces that I need to put on, I've already overlocked ready so that they don't get any worse. As it was quite difficult to save some bits, so I went down and overlocked as much as I could on the seams, and then if it was too narrow to get the overlocker down, or I was worried about cutting it or something, I then went through and actually used my sewing machine and used the overcast foot. But in some cases even that didn't look like it was going to be enough, and I was a bit worried that it wouldn't last 2 minutes. So in some cases you'll see, oops, that's my notebook just gone. I actually just went ahead and, can you see that? I just ironed on some fusible interfacing, because it's quite a rigid fabric anyway, so I thought it's not going to make really any difference to the drape. Those of you who haven't seen this before, haven't seen me introduce the collaboration, and I will put the link to that video down below as well. I got the fabric from a charity shop. It's actually a pair of curtains, and I actually thought it was in better condition when I bought it than it probably is really. So it is wearing a bit in places, but for a first jacket I think, you know, it's fine. But it does make a statement, doesn't it? So and I got it for something like £15. So those of you who join me for because of Sew Frugal 23, this is most definitely a thrifty make, because Burda magazine is something like, I can't remember, £7 something like that. But you know, there's loads of patterns in there. This cost me £15, and the lining was actually free, because a lovely local lady gave me a whole load of fabric for nothing that she just wanted to get rid of, and this lining was in there, so it hasn't cost very much at all, which is lovely and good for me when I've not done a jacket before. So I've done a cape but never a jacket. So that is my progress on the Burda jacket. So I shall just pop that on, Olivia, like that for now, and pick up my notebook and hope that I can find the right page again. So here we go. So that is my progress on the Burda jacket. Next, I did do a separate video just before I put up the Sew Frugal video. I did a video on Sew Yellow for Endo, which is the other big Instagram challenge apart from Sew Frugal 23, that's being run this month. And again, this is something that Jess over at So What If I Sew runs, and she's in her 3rd year of doing it. And the idea is that you sew something that's yellow or that has yellow highlights in it, and it's to to promote endometriosis and awareness of endometriosis, because it's something that a lot of women suffer from, and it takes an awful long time to get a diagnosis. Jess herself is a sufferer, and she's very keen that people are more aware of it. So the idea is that you sew something yellow, you post a picture of it on Instagram on the 25th of March, which I think is a week today, and you donate to Endometriosis UK through Jess's Just Giving page. So if you donate, include your Instagram handle on the Just Giving page when you make your donation, and then you put your picture on Instagram of your yellow garment on the 25th of March, and then Jess can marry up the two, and there are prizes. So I did a video about what I was going to make, and I am going to make some shorts for my husband. Sorry, I have got this whole stack of things here. Using this pattern, McCall's M7987, and I'm going to make view A shorts, and we were wondering a bit about the size on them. So this is the larger pattern size, which goes from a 36-inch waist up to a 44-inch waist, and so we decided that I would twirl them because he thought he probably needed a size 34, which obviously isn't on that pattern. So I did a twirl this week using an old bed sheet, and here's the twirl. So obviously I didn't bother with the zip or anything, and I've only got one layer of the waistband on, didn't put facings in, and the pocket piece I've only sewn on to the extent that I needed to work out how big the waist would be. Now it looks enormous on the seams, and the reason is because what I actually did was I cut it out at a 39, but also traced on the seam, not the seam lines, the cutting edge of the 36, and then I made it up as a 36, but could have then resewn it, rebasted it as a 39 if the 36 hadn't fitted. And he tried it on, and he's right. He needs a 34. So I thought about, do I try and grade it all out? And then I thought, no, because I haven't got that long to make it. So what I did in the end was I just bought the smaller version of the pattern, and I got this from Minerva, and I ordered it on express delivery, and I was having a fit because I didn't think it was going to turn up, but it turned up today. So I've hopefully got a good chance of getting it made up. And because we know what size he is, I'm just going to cut straight into the pattern, because he has definitely said he wouldn't want a pair of those trousers, which is on the same pattern pieces as the shorts. And as luck would have it, these, which he likes better, are on a different pattern piece other than the waistband and things, so those bits can stay intact in case he wants some trousers later. So that's where I'm at with that. So I've done my twirl. So really I've not done too badly this week in terms of sewing, because I've progressed on there, rescued the seams, done the welt pockets, done my twirl, got my pattern sorted, so that when I finish filming this, that's going to be my next thing, is to cut out the pattern pieces for that and get the fabric cut out. For those of you who haven't seen what I'm making it in, sorry, I've got things falling all over the place here, including my iPad, which would not be good. So let me just wedge that. Oh no. Okay. Precariously balanced. So this is the fabric. Minions. So in some ways my husband has very similar fabric choice to me. He's if you look back in my feed, you'll see he's got pyjamas that are made from fabric as if it's from the Matrix, and I've made him a Doctor Who shirt and all sorts. So yeah, he's quite happy to have eccentric prints as well. So I've got the Minions fabric, and I've got a plain yellow cotton lining, and last week I also managed to get a yellow zip. So obviously it's not showing it very well, but it's a yellow zip. It's not very exciting. And I have some yellow thread, and that is actually proper cotton. So I had a whole load of these in a pack when I first started sewing, but of course if you've got polyester, it's not great using cotton. But because I'm using all cotton, I think I can use it, except possibly I might put the zip in with all-purpose thread, just because the zip's not cotton, so I might just switch for that. And I reordered the pattern from Minerva, and I also got some more interfacing because I wasn't quite sure if I'd have enough, so I decided I'd get some more interfacing while I'm at it. So I did that, and now I'm ready to go with that. So because I couldn't do that until I got the new pattern, I had a bit of time to start thinking about other makes. So one of the things that is happening this time next week is that I'm going up north to spend some time with my family again for a few days. So I'm going up, I'm arriving on the Saturday, and I think I'm coming back down on the Wednesday. So I've got a few days holiday up there, and I am lucky enough to be able to take my sewing machines with me. and be able to do a bit of sewing, you know, usually in the evenings if we've gone out for the day. So I will be taking my sewing machines with me, but I don't have the facility to cut out up there. So what I have to do is get my project bags, fill them up with stuff, work out everything I need to take with me, and then I can sew up there. So I have started sticking together, and actually, although I didn't talk about this in Sew Frugal, it would count as a Sew Frugal make. And I am making for my mum, and some of you already know this, the Uvita top by Itch to Stitch. So that was the pattern that was sitting on my mannequin last week, and I'll pop a picture up there, and my mum saw it and really liked it. And so what I've done is I've printed out the pattern in 3 sizes. I've done the layering thing on Adobe, so that I've got the 3 sizes that she needs, because she's like me, so I'm sort of slightly pear-shaped, so I sometimes make patterns and I start at one measurement at the bust, and then I grade out to the waist, and I grade out again at the hip, and my mum is the same, different sizes but the same principle. So I printed out those 3 sizes, I started sticking it together, so I just need to do the grading and cut those out. And again, some of you will have seen this before, but this is the fabric that I am making it in for her. She wanted a ditzy floral on a blue background, and this is a cotton jersey from the lovely Jenny's Stitches, and if it is still available I will pop the link below. If not, I will just link to her site. And it came really quickly and it's beautiful, it's really nice quality, and it's all washed and ready to go. So I can cut that out, and I will be seeing my mum while I'm up there. The only thing, and I made her something quite recently, I made her the hot coffee top because she saw mine and wanted one. You can see a pattern here, can't you? And I made that for her up there. And I could do that again, so I could take this in pieces and sew it up for her while I'm up there. But the only problem is that I quite like to cover stitch the hems, and there is no way I'm taking a sewing machine, an overlocker and a cover stitch machine, because I think even for me that's too much. Ideally, I'd rather take just my overlocker or just my sewing machine, so we will see. One thing I could do, of course, is cover stitch the hems here, and then just make really sure that I line them up properly if I do it flat, and make sure I line them up properly when I sew them up. So that might be an option. Or I could just twin needle the hem. But I have occasionally, I've got garments where I twin needled hems for me before I got my cover stitch, and occasionally they've popped. Or I could just zigzag stitch it. That's the other option. Okay, so that is the Uvita. So I've started sticking that together. I have also, but I'm not going to show you which ones, printed out the A4 pieces for 2 of the Sew Frugal 23 patterns that I showed you last week, but I'm not going to, last week, 2 weeks ago, but I'm not going to show you which ones yet. I think I will make both of them at some point. Whether I will get them all done for 31st of March, I really don't know. It depends. Probably depends how much sewing I get done in the next week, because I need to get on with the shorts as well for 25th of March, and it also depends on how much sewing time I get realistically while I'm up staying with my relatives. But I'm hoping I'll get at least one of those, and possibly the Uvita done for the 31st of March, and then I will do a video where I reveal the, well, I'll have revealed them on Instagram anyway, but I'll reveal them, the sorry, can't talk, the Sew Yellow for Endo shorts, and whatever I've made for Sew Frugal 23 I will reveal in a YouTube video, either right at the end of March or early April. Okay, so that is my progress for the week. So I think I've done quite well. 2 weeks actually. The other thing I've also done, I am at some point going to do a sewing room tour, and I have made quite good progress because I have sorted out 2 shelves of my wardrobe in which I keep quite a lot of my fabrics. So I'm trying desperately to rationalise how I'm storing things, and I had a whole lot of wool, because I also knit and crochet, and I had a whole load of wool sitting in the bottom shelf, and I've managed to rationalise it a bit so that it's now much better organised. And I also had button tins and things sitting around, so I've created a bit more space. So my room is getting tidier, and then hopefully I can do you a tour of my sewing room, so that's also going to come up. So I was saying about So Frugal Mates, one of the other things I have bought is this, and this is just a Maraflex thread. So for those of you who don't know, this is a thread that allows you to sew stretch fabrics on your sewing machine with a straight stitch instead of a zigzag stitch or a lightning stitch. And I thought that might be useful for one of my makes, particularly if I am going to make it while I am away. So whether that gives you a clue or not to what I might be going to make, I don't know. But anyway, I have that. And I was really touched. Minerva, when I sent through my when they sent through my order, have also popped in a couple of little labels. They're both the same, and they say Minerva Maker, and that has the logo on the other side. So I think it goes in like that, and then when you flip it up it says Minerva Maker. So that was nice, it was a nice touch. So I have 2 of those. Okay, so that's all my absolute sewing news, so you're caught up. I've made a couple of sewing related purchases. So one of the things I got, and this was inspired by what I saw the lovely Ruan, who is at the Yorkshire Sew Girl, do. She bought some drying mats, dish, you know, when you wash up and you put on your drainer, you can get these drying mats that soak up the water, so you don't have to dry up so much. You can just put your crockery to drain, and the mat will soak it up. And what she'd done was she'd bought a couple of these so she could slide her sewing machine and her overlocker around on her desk so that they weren't so heavy. And certainly I can find my sewing machine quite heavy if I have to move it off the desk. So I've got a drying mat, and my sewing machine is quite big. It's a Janome Atelier 7, so not necessarily all that easy to find a mat. But I did find one, and I'll pop a picture up here. And I've now got it under my sewing machine, and definitely it is easier to slide it around. Whether I will get a second one to put my cover stitch on so that I can move those interchangeably, I don't know. I've got my overlocker on a separate table, so I've got my sewing machine here on a desk, and then I've got you perched on, it's actually a manicure table, portable manicure table, and my overlocker is next to you. It's just you can hear me tap it. So I don't need to keep moving those around, so I just move the cover stitch in when I need it. Yeah. Okay, so that was one of the sewing related purchases, and then the others, I don't know if you can see, are these, which are just sewing machine earrings from Amazon. They weren't expensive at all, they were about £12, something like that, and they come in lots and lots of different shades, so I'll pop the link down below. I'm not affiliated or anything to Amazon, but I just saw these and I thought they were cute, and I just really like the red ones. I'm also quite tempted to get some more. You can get them in kind of black and grey, which would go with more. Sorry, that's the back, but they're lovely and they feel really light on. They're not kind of yanking on my ears, so I just thought I'd show you those because I think they're quite cute. So yeah, so I will just finish very quickly with what I'm wearing, and then I will put forward a suggestion for a video that I might put up for next week. So what I'm wearing is me made, but it's not sewing, as you can see, and I mentioned I do knit and crochet, and this is quite an old crochet make, and it's this, it's a DMC crochet pattern. It's quite old, and it's the round neck fitted jumper, but as you can see it isn't actually all that fitted on me. I'll pop a picture in of me in it full length. I think I made the size 12 to 14 because I've circled those bits on the pattern, And actually it's a bit like when I sew on the hip, it's probably the right size. On the bust it maybe isn't quite, but it's fine. I haven't worn it for ages, but I wanted to wear something me made, and it's got fractionally warmer in Wales, so I can just about cope sitting in just a one layer sweater. So I thought I would wear this and show you it. And I made it, excuse me, in the recommended, it's like a cotton, it's 100% cotton yarn, called DMC Petra 3. Whether it still exists, I don't know, because as I say, it's quite old. I'll have a look and link it down below if it still exists. So yeah, so that's what I'm wearing. Now, the other thing I was going to say, and let me know in the comments below if you think this is interesting. Because I'm going up north next week, I may not get a chance to do an update video as such before I go. But one thing that it occurred to me I could record for you so that you still get something next week is a thrifty makes that I've done in the past videos. So some that I've done either because the pattern's free, or possibly in some cases, and actually probably in more cases, because I've made economic use of fabric. So you know, like we've been talking about on So Frugal 23, repurposing bed sheets and repurposing. I've bought quite a lot of very cheap remnants that have literally been kind of, I think, end of lines that sit on big cardboard rolls outside a local furnishing and fabric shop to me, and I started buying those when I was very new to sewing because it was an inexpensive way of learning to sew. So I've got quite a few makes that I could show you that are thrifty makes, and I thought that might fit quite nicely in March and would give you a chance to see some of my earlier completed makes, because even those of you who've been watching me for quite a while, most of them you won't have seen before. So if that's something that interests you, please let me know. Okay, so that is it for this week. As I've said, if you've enjoyed my content and you would like to see more from me, please give me a thumbs up and drop me a comment. It does help to get my videos seen by other subscribers. And again, please, sorry, not by other subscribers, by other people watching YouTube. But again, if you like what you see and you want to see more from me, please do consider subscribing. And if you click the little notification bell, which will be in that corner, I think, then that will tell you when I put out new videos. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.